the Full Court Press with Eric Frandsen and Jason Walker.
Welcome back to the to the show that we're doing right now.
Following the local teams, breaking down the biggest games with in-depth analysis and team interview. Join the show by calling into 435-752-1069 or text 435-339-0321. It's the Full Court Press.
Rose, end zone. Yes! Caught! Touchdown! They did it!
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome on in to another edition of the Full Court Press. Eric Frandsen, Jason Walker. Thanks for tuning in, being a part of the program. We always love to have you be a part of it as well. On the Young Power Sports of Logan text line, 435-339-0321. Very active last hour. Always love to hear the interaction and the feedback from the audience. Invite you to continue that as we roll through different topics this hour on the Full Court Press, streaming on 106.9 FM, 1390 AM, 1069thefan.com, and the 1069 The Fan mobile app. And love to have you part of the show. 435-339-0321. A number of topics that we didn't get to last hour. We'll fold them over into this one. And some of them have to do with a series of Mountain West awards that are being handed out. We've also got some Utah State men's basketball news. A little bit later on, we'll hear some post-practice audio. I was able to get up to practice to talk to Brevin Hamblin and Demick Starling for Utah State. And we got more players receiving their jersey numbers, a whole lot more. So let's first talk about Mountain West awards. We had some individuals from Utah State getting recognized for what they've done here recently. You know, Utah State soccer with a nice start to their season, going up to Pullman, Washington, and beating Washington State. And there's some recognition for Utah State pitching a shutout.
Yeah. So, whenever you're a keeper and you get a shutout, then that's probably that's free real estate to be getting a Defensive Player of the Week nomination. Of course, I think the defense as a whole, mind you, one that was starting two freshmen who played 90 minutes on the back line. I think that whole back line deserves some credit, but the goalkeeper obviously part of that because they tend to be the leader of the defense. They tend to be, the vocal leader especially. And then she had two big saves. Obviously, she only had two saves, but they were both pretty dang big ones. So it's, again, Taylor Rath being the Mountain West Defensive Player of the Week for that first week. I don't know how many teams in the Mountain West actually played, but she might have won it anyway. Just being able to beat a team like Washington State, a really solid Washington State team. So very well deserved from Rath, and I don't think that's going to be the last Defensive Player of the Week award won by someone on the Aggies.
Utah State women's soccer will have their next game on Sunday with Kansas coming to town. So 1 o'clock, I believe, on Sunday afternoon.
Not coming to town, aren't they? Or is that their home game?
That'll be here in Logan.
I thought they were playing another one before.
Oh, you're right. They're at Pacific or something this week.
Yeah, I think they're playing Thursday and Sunday.
That's right. They're on the road on Thursday, then they're home hosting Kansas for their home opener on Sunday afternoon.
Yeah, they're unveiling. I know they technically have already kind of played an event with people at the
Chuck and Gloria Bell Field.
I was going to call it the stadium, but then I was like, I don't know if it's not quite a stadium, but the field there, Bell Field. But yeah, they'll do the whole. I think they'll do a little more fancy stuff at the official home opener for the renovated Chuck and Gloria Bell Field.
Yes, a couple other recognitions out there. With Cheyenne Stubbs, we learned that the former Utah State women's basketball player has signed a professional contract. So congratulations to Cheyenne Stubbs.
Yeah, signing with the Sheffield Hatters. So there you go.
I can't say that I know much about the Sheffield Hatters.
No, I cannot say that, other than that they are located in Sheffield, in South Yorkshire, England.
Oh, wow. And then the Mountain West has been releasing different rankings for different positions for this upcoming football season. The other day we were talking about Bryson Barnes was number 3 on the quarterback list. Noah Avenger was number 5 in the cornerback position. Well, today they released their top 5 for linebackers and running backs. No Aggies made that list.
Yeah, which I get it for the preseason, but I would bet by the end of the season, if my hype for Javen Jacobs is real, and when you got guys like John Miller and Bronson Olevao, those are guys I think by the end of the season. I mean, when you're talking about top 5, it's not quite all Mountain West, but I think the Aggies could have some guys that are in their argument for all Mountain West at running back and linebacker. Those are positions where I think they have potential star players.
Interesting, in the list for top 5 running backs, Boise State had 2.
Yeah, that's a load of crock.
Yeah, that just seemed weird. So yeah, I don't know how you put 2 in there.
Yeah,
especially when they're relatively unproven after Ashton Genty did all the work last year.
Yeah, it's a load of crock. They did have. I didn't realize that I was looking at Scotcher Humphrey as the New Mexico running back, where he's coming from Montana State. For a second, I thought he was Idaho, but he was at Montana State last year. I didn't realize the hype for him. Cause I was thinking it was going to be pretty good. I didn't realize everyone else shared that opinion. I usually like having my opinions be like, oh, I'm the only one who's hyping this player up. It's like discovering an indie band. And I was like, oh yeah, I guess when you run for 1,400 yards, other people are going to think you're good. But I was surprised that he got ranked. I think he was number 2. He was first team All Mountain West.
Recognized.
Preseason All Mountain West. So yeah, I'd forgotten that he's been getting hype outside of when I was looking at him.
So let's shift gears a little bit more about Utah State football. And Jason, you've been putting together these opponent previews throughout these last few weeks, and the next team on the list for us to focus on today is Nevada. And Utah State will take on the Wolfpack later in the season.
Yeah, we're in line where we were like a couple days behind where we'd be talking about the preview that I published 2 days ago. This week, everything lines up now, where this morning my preview on Nevada was published. Tomorrow we'll talk UNLV, 2 teams that are in weirdly similar situations. Weird because of the fact that one team went 11-3 last year, the other went 4-8, but they're in remarkably similar situations. But yeah, Nevada's an interesting team because when I looked back, I was reminded, because I remember seeing this through the season and remarking on it, where Nevada in 2024 might have been one of the best 3-10 teams that ever existed. This is a team that lost by, I think, of their 10 losses, I think 6 of them were by 1 score or less. I think 5 of those were by less than a touchdown. And 2 of those losses by less than a touchdown, or no, maybe one of them was by a touchdown. I'd have to go double check the score. That's somewhere in my preview. But they lost to SMU. Yeah, so one of these losses was by exactly a touchdown. But they lost to SMU, a playoff team, 29-24. They lost to Boise State, another playoff team, 28-21. This is a 3-10 team going toe-to-toe with playoff teams. Mind you, they lost basically every one of those 1-score games they were in. But I thought it was interesting that when you look at all of the teams that this is where I went on a rabbit hole with numbers, but of all the teams that had 10 losses, there are about a dozen or so of them, Nevada had the best point differential of all of them. They had a point differential of -74. And everyone else's was -150, -200. They're just getting blown out in all these games because they're a 10-loss team. That's what you expect of 10-loss teams. But Nevada was a weirdly good 3-10 team. And when you look at that, you say, all right, they're going to bounce back and they're going to, maybe improve. You got Jeff Choate, who's trying to rebuild this program. They went downhill fast after Jay Norvell left. Mm-hmm. Problem is, Nevada ranks 126th in returning production. So all that momentum that they kind of built, all those moral victories, feels like they're just kind of getting washed away. All that progress they maybe made, lost because nobody's coming back. Brendan Lewis, who was the star of the offense, he had I think just about 3,000 yards of production, 2,300 pass yards, almost 800 rush yards, 24 total touchdown. Well, he's now at Memphis. They lost their top running back. They lost each of their top 2 receivers. They lost 5 of their top 7 offensive linemen. Similar story on the defense, where I think on defense they lost around a dozen of their top 14 or 15 players on defense and snaps. They just lost pretty much everything. And so it's just a matter of, okay, now they've just got to restart. Like where they were when Jeff Choate came in, that's basically where they are this year. They're back to square one. And so it's like, well, where do you go? It's like we were talking about in New Mexico. The second they made some progress, they lost everything.
Yeah. Yeah, and the other thing, too, with Nevada, as we learned down in Las Vegas at the media days, is that he's reshuffled his coaching staff. He's retained most everybody. They're just all have different assignments. And he felt like that he had – I'm trying to remember exactly how he phrased it, but in essence, I like the guys that I have, but now they're in better positions based on what they're really good at. So it's like he hired a staff, but he didn't really put them together the right way initially, and now he feels like he has them better positioned. So
I don't know if that's a good sign.
Yeah, that makes me concerned for Coach Choate, who was former assistant in Logan for Utah State. He's also got a quarterback who's been around all over the place and has never really finished a season. Hasn't played a whole lot because he's always hurt. And I don't know that this year will be any different for Chubba Purdy. So there's a lot of concern about Nevada. This is a team that was competitive. They just couldn't quite figure out how to win. But I don't know that I've seen that this team is making that progress and those steps forward where they start to learn how to win this season.
Yeah, I'm not blown away with a lot of the guys they brought in. I do like Herschel Turner. They brought him out of Utah State, although he may not end up being the starter at running back. There's some other guys that are favored to start over him, but I think he'll play. I think you asked Coach about Herschel Turner, if I remember right, at media days.
Yeah.
I think he said that he'll have like a role in the offense, which sounded like he's going to be the backup.
Yeah.
Basically, not wanting to say anything to offend Utah State fans, but yeah, they brought in a bunch of guys on defense from Power 4, teams. The defensive backs are pretty heavy in terms of bringing in. Like they just brought in so many transfers. I wasn't really, blown away by it. Jeff Choate got the defense playing a lot better in his first year because they were like bottom 30, bottom 20 the year before he came in, and then he got him into like the top 100, like into that sort of okay range of the defense. They're still a coin flip whether or not they'd give up 30 points, which is not where you want to be on defense, but at least they weren't a coin flip to give up 40 like the Aggies were. So, and like the Nevada was, again, they were kind of like that a couple years ago when they had back-to-back, 2-10 seasons. So he got the defense playing a little bit better, but again, he's again starting from where he was last year, where he's got to basically do last year's job again this year. And you feel like it could just end up being spinning wheels for this guy. And, if he's repeating the job he did last year this year, then yeah, he can probably be competitive in a lot of games. They might be able to be competitive in this game against the Aggies because the Aggies aren't going to be a super strong opponent. But it is being played on Merlin Olsen Field. The Aggies should have the advantage there. I think both teams are coming off a bye in this one. It's weird. We usually talk about like which team's coming off a bye. Both of the Aggies' byes come, or both the teams the Aggies play after a bye. That opponent is also coming off of a bye. And I feel like that has to be on purpose. I feel like the Mountain West had to have just planned that out for everyone, which is a good thing you should probably try to do if you're a schedule maker. But you used to be able to be, well, I'm coming off bye, and you're not, so ha ha ha.
Yeah, we have the advantage.
But the Aggies will not get that advantage of anybody this season. This will be so both teams are going to be as well rested as you're going to be by this will be week 10 or 11 of the season. So, again, as well rested as you can be. But this is one of those games I think fans are going to this is one of those they're writing down as a win. But if the Aggies are underperforming, this is a game where suddenly it's like, you're not sure. So at this point, I'm not going to say we're necessarily going to learn who the Aggies are because it's going to be their 9th game of the season. We'll know who they are by this point. But it could be a defining game in the sense of if you win this game, it means you weren't that bad. If you lose this game, it means you had a bad season.
Yeah.
So that'll kind of be where this game is at. And I predict a comfortable win. Yeah, just like they should be winning this game by a touchdown or more. Even if the Aggies don't go beyond their preseason expectations, they're still considered a better team by pretty much every preseason ranking. They should be winning this game. Like when you talk about your minimum number of wins, games against UTEP, McNeese, and this one against Nevada. And I think even New Mexico. New Mexico's a little trickier because it's on the road, but where the absolute floor of this team is 3 or 4 wins, this is one of those games where at your worst, you're winning this game. So that's kind of where this game ends up being, just because as much as Nevada is trying to turn things around, I don't see it. I see them maybe being as good as last year, maybe slightly better, but just with how much they lost, I'm not as impressed with who's coming in. Their history of being not a very good team the last few years, even though Utah State is facing a lot of the similar problems. They have a worse level of returning production. They've got a better coach. They've got better history. They've got better fan support for football. So Utah State should be able to come in with a win in this game. It would be a massive disappointment if they didn't, unless Nevada comes into this game like 7-1 or something. In that case, maybe they're the surprise team. But
yeah, if that would be a major surprise.
Yeah, if Nevada is anything like what they've been the last 2-3 years, I think 3 years now, where they have 7 wins in 3 years, you shouldn't be losing to them. So
435-339-0321 if you want to chime in on part of the Young Power Sports of Logan text line. We did have a college football related text, 9315. What day does week 0 start in college football? Saturday.
Yeah, August 23rd. This Saturday. Football, or is there one on Thursday or Saturday, or Thursday or Friday?
No, I think that is the first.
Okay, so yeah, August 23rd. College football begins this week. It is college football week in America. Congratulations, you've made it.
It starts early in the morning because there's a game in Ireland.
Oh yeah, who's playing in that one this
Iowa
year?
State, Kansas State. It's the 2 top 25 teams. We got a number of Mountain West teams involved in week 0. UNLV hosting Idaho State. Fresno State at Kansas. That'll be 4:30 on Fox. And then Hawaii hosting Stanford at 5:30 on CBS Paramount. See, look, that's an earlier game. It's a 5:30 kickoff. So how did they make that happen? It had to be a TV thing to make that happen earlier in the day.
How are week 0 games not showing up on this scoreboard thing? Oh, now they are.
But anyway, those are your week 0 games. And then we do have some games on Thursday. Boise State will play next Thursday on the 28th. But the week 0, that begins this Saturday with a handful of games throughout the day. So there you have it. Let's take a quick timeout here in the Full Court Press. When we come back, we want to talk a little bit more about Utah State football. They still have 11 days before their first game. And I talked to a couple of players about that, about choosing their jersey numbers and a few other things. We'll hear from Brevin Hamblin and Demick Starling coming up after this break on the Full Court Press.
While you're making memories this summer on the lake, in the mountains, or around the fire pit, Adams Wealth Advisors is here to help you plan for days to come. Adams Wealth Advisors loves being your trusted neighbor and believes that smart financial planning is the key to a life well lived. Whether you're nearing retirement or just getting started, let Adams Wealth Advisors build a plan that gives you peace of mind today and tomorrow. Google Adams Wealth Advisors for a free consultation today. Local roots, lifelong guidance.
Summer is cruising by way too fast. It's already back to school time. Soon, you're going to start experiencing many special places and events that you won't forget, such as your first slide down Old Main Hill, attending Aggie football and basketball games, or a wild party at the How. And your first first kiss on the Aggie Bowl that might just lead to that extra special moment at Jarek's Fine Jewelry, Cache Valley's engagement ring store, where it's all about the romance. Just look for the bright green cars at 930 North Main Street.
It's that time of the year. Fresh zucchini is everywhere. And at Old Grist Mill, they're baking it into the perfect special. The Old Grist Mill is making warm, fresh, baked zucchini bread, just like Grandma used to make. Simple ingredients and fresh zucchini to create moist, flavorful bread the old-fashioned way. It's the taste of the season. Stop by South Logan, Logan, or Smithville to grab a loaf for $2 before it's gone. And don't forget, Old Grist Mill makes all your favorite fresh bread, scones, muffins, and now serving breakfast in Logan and Smithville. Dine in, take out, curbside, or catering. Old Grist Mill is here for you.
They never could play it, but they sure can talk about it. Eric Frandsen and Jason Walker on the Full Court Press.
Mountain Valley Heating and Air Conditioning. They want you to feel the love as they give away and install 5 new furnace and air conditioners to families in need this year. They're going to donate everything involved with making it happen, but you need to donate the families, those families who need a little extra support. That's who they're interested in helping. And those nominations are open today through August 31st. So time is running out. Make sure you log on. Go to mtnvalleyhvac.com. Click on the Feel the Love tab. That's mtnvalleyhvac.com. So we've been highlighting various football players for the Utah State Aggie football team, those who we think will have a big impact on the football team this season, revealing them in no particular order. But the latest one that we wanted to highlight today is Bronson Olevao.
The Cache Valley Media Group's annual Top 25 Aggies continues today with another player reveal. The next player on this year's list is linebacker Bronson Olevao. Olevao stands 6'1", weighs 215 pounds, and wears the number 14 jersey for the Aggies defense. 2025 will be Bronson's 4th season in Logan. He redshirted in 2022, appeared in 3 games in 2023, and then played all 12 games for the Aggies last season, accumulating 23 tackles, 3.5 sacks, and 4 tackles for loss.
I had the chance to visit with Bronson earlier during fall camp. I've interviewed him a couple of times. I really enjoy Bronson Olevao. Great player, good leader for Utah State. Had some injuries or was kind of in the depth, they're buried in the depth chart of the first of the year last year, but kept working at it, kept getting opportunities, and then really kind of exploded on the scene at the back half of, or the back part of the schedule last year. And here's somebody coming into this season expected to be a good leader for this football team on defense and being a major part of that linebacker core.
Yeah, I think so. I think he's going to be one of the top guys there. I would project him as a starter. He's one of the guys that got his number. So it's number 14, right? I think it was number 14. It got said 20 seconds ago, so I should know. But this is a guy, I don't know if I highlighted him, and I did my newcomers and up-and-comers to watch. And if I didn't put him on the list, I should have. Where I might have put John Miller on there instead. But I think both those guys. We talked about earlier, kind of at the beginning of this hour, that I think Utah State's going to have one of the top 5 linebackers, whether it's Olevao or Miller. I don't know, take your pick, whoever you like the most. I like both of them to be productive, good tacklers for the Aggies. That's their role. When you're a linebacker, your job is to go out there in a season and get 80 to 90 tackles. That's your job. Your job is to go out there, plug the holes in the run game, go out and get good open field tackles, and when you blitz, make some things happen in the backfield. And I think both of these guys can do it. They're a little undersized in the sense that they're both, you like your linebackers to be in the 230, 240 pound range. I think both of those guys are in the 220s. But hey, means they're fast, I guess. So I think as long as they can still play physical and stay healthy, then they'll be able to be versatile linebackers. And so Olevao is a guy I think could be primed for a big season for the Aggies.
Yeah, I agree. And I misspoke. He wasn't injured last year, but he played pretty much every game, but he wasn't.
Well, he was like the second or third stringer to start the year.
Yeah, he wasn't a featured linebacker. But he became more of a featured linebacker as the season went on, and it made some pretty big plays for Utah State later in the season. But since we're talking defense, let's keep it up and share the interview that I was able to get today with Brevin Hamblin. He's a native Utahn, started his career at Utah Tech, but is now finding his way at Utah State as a safety, big safety. He's tall, 6'5".
Yeah, bigger than any safety I think I've ever really seen.
Yeah, and 6'5". He is tall. I don't know if he looks 6'5" when I talk to him, but he's about that.
6'5" is the upper limit of how tall you can be and still be an effective football player outside of being offensive line and tight end.
Yeah. So anyway, my conversation with Brevin Hamblin after practice today. Okay, Brevin Hamblin, safety for Utah State, and you've got a jersey number. Not everybody does. So walk me through that process for you, being selected as somebody who gets to select his jersey and the number that you chose.
So it's a special moment, honestly, for anyone that gets to, especially on the first day, to get to pick their number. And where I was at my last school, it was a whole different process. And honestly, it intrigued me when I was on my visit here and they were telling me about the number selection and all that. So I chose number 4. I wore that in high school. My older brothers all wore that in high school. So I ended up picking that.
With the process of players getting to choose theirs, it's like, from what I understand, Coach Bronco Mendenhall says it's players get to choose which players get to select their jersey numbers. So what was that for you, being able to be selected among those first group of players to choose your jersey?
Yeah, so we have a leadership council that gets together and picks who they think deserves a number, who's earned it, and who's kind of bought in and is true-blooded into our program. So just the fact that I have teammates on this team that think I am a leader of my position group into the defense and that they chose me to pick a number is just special.
Tell me about that transition from Utah Tech to Utah State. At Utah Tech, you got a chance to be on the field to make a lot of plays and get that experience. But is the physicality and speed of the game at this institution, is it much different?
I would say so, and just it's the overall mentality of everyone here in this program. Like coming from a program that's kind of relaxed and it's not seen as a great program, to a program here where everyone's bought in, you have to earn everything. It's been cool to see how hard people will work just to earn what they want.
I understand you're quite the accomplished javelin thrower.
Yeah, 6A state champion, javelin thrower.
And the school record, right, for Syracuse?
I do hold the school record right now, yes.
Well, if the track team, I guess, needs somebody, they can call on you.
Hey, anytime. I'd love to go throw it again.
This feels like fall camp is about concluding here. How would you assess how fall camp has gone so far for you and specifically for your position group?
I feel like as a team, we've all gotten better. Everyone's seeing things faster, reacting faster, and trying to make plays for each other. And as a position group, as the safeties, I feel like we're very technical, trying to get like footwork, assignments, loud communication. We're the quarterbacks of the defense, so we have to get everyone aligned, knowing what to play and how to play it fast.
How's the depth there at that position, especially considering some of the things that have happened here recently with Ike Larson?
Yeah, I mean, next man up, you got to step up and fill in a role, whether it's you were playing this spot and now you got to learn a new spot, or whether you just got to bump up a spot and run with the ones. You got to be ready to compete no matter what the situation is.
We're about 10 days away from game 1. How are you feeling about that? Is that exciting that finally you have another opponent to face instead of your brothers?
Yes, I'm so excited. I can't wait.
Any fine-tuning that you still feel like needs to be done for you and for the safeties?
Yeah, I feel like the little things, just making sure every little detail is right and correct. Otherwise, you'll get creased and score a touchdown. We're the back line of the defense, so touchdowns are on us.
And then I've been asking pretty much everybody this. There's a lot of players that are new to this team. Fans don't really know this team very well because of all the transfers and changes and lack of opportunities to see the team in scrimmages or anything like that. So like I said, we're like 10 days away-ish from the opening day. So what would you tell fans to come and what are they going to learn about this team when they come see you against UTEP?
Sure, I'd be prepared for a violent and nasty defense. We're ready to tear some people up.
Brevin Hamblin, thank you so much.
Thank you.
He's ready to go tear some people up.
Yeah.
Let's go.
He's almost getting himself fired up at the end of the interview. He's raring to go.
Yeah, it was fun talking to Brevin. And whenever I do these interviews, what you don't hear on this show.
Not yet, at least. Well, yeah, I guess you won't hear it on this show.
No, you won't hear it on this show. Is I do Know Your Aggies segment that I do for our KVNU game day broadcasts this fall. And I always enjoy doing those. You get an interesting perspective of the players and what makes them tick. But I really enjoyed visiting with Brevin. And yeah, this is a guy who was at Utah Tech, very different attitude on that campus in that football program. He did get to see the field and he got to make some plays, but he's not used to a successful, competitive, demanding football culture. And that's what he's experiencing here at Utah State. And he seems to be enjoying that, relishing that, actually.
Well, he fit right in. He got his number early on. So it seemed like he's fitting into the culture pretty darn well. So looking forward to big things with Hamblin. He may end up starting because I've been keying on him at that striker position. Who knows? He may end up starting at safety. They may have to move him there and maybe move a corner in there. They're overloaded with corners. They might move a corner or maybe a different linebacker in there to that kind of striker. But the nickel position is what they're calling it. So we'll see how things shake out. But you'll certainly be seeing Brevin Hamblin's name. And now that we know his number, you'll also see his number.
Number 4.
Out there. Number 4. He'll be out there making plays for the Aggies this season.
The other player I got to visit with was Demick Starling, wide receiver for Utah State. Somebody who transferred here from Western Kentucky, but before that, he was at Virginia. So I got to talk to him about the opportunity to reunite with Bronco Mendenhall. Demick Starling, one of the wide receivers for Utah State, and you're one of the guys that got to choose a jersey number here this past weekend. Walk me through that process and what that was like for you, being recognized among your peers and being able to choose your jersey number.
So the process is it's a different process than any other program, I'll say. So basically, we just take how we performed, not only on the field, but in the weight room and just around with your teammates, being a leader or whatnot. And the leadership council picks who they feel like deserves a number in each round. So I was able to go a little early in the round, and I picked my number. So it just feels good that my teammates just see me in a certain way. Feel like that I can carry the water on the team and feel like that they can trust me with the team with picking a number. So,
what significance does 6 have for you?
So I wore 6 in my previous schools for the past 3 years. So my quarterback in high school, Rondé Thompson, he passed away, but he wore 6 throughout high school. So I just I wear 6 to try to have him in remembrance and have him on the field with me while I'm playing.
Oh, that's so cool. Talk about your previous schools. You've had a chance to reunite with Bronco Mendenhall. What's that process been like? And is he any different today than when you were with him back in Virginia?
No, I wouldn't. I think the process now is a little different for me than when I was originally with him because I know what to expect. So just trying to find myself as being the example for the team, for everybody that's new with him. Just to kind of show them the way and show them what to expect when it comes to Mendenhall because the expectations are high. So most of my friends from Virginia that I played with would call me crazy, but I knew it would make me a better man in the long run and a better player. So it was a no-brainer to decide to come here with him.
There's a lot of new faces in the wide receiver group here at Utah State. So how do you feel like you're fitting in, and how do you feel like you're best utilized, position among wide receivers?
I'm sorry, can you ask the question one more time?
Just the depth and just the group of wide receivers right now. Let's just focus on that first.
Okay, so I think the depth is good. I think we have a lot of receivers with different styles of play, but I think it comes together well. I always see it as it's a round table, so we all eat, and I think that we all recognize that And I think that we recognize that because our play styles are so different, they'll open up for each one of us. So just having somebody like with a savvy and smooth hips like Brady, helping BP on the sideline with his long strides and being able to get the ball out there. Me, with just making plays downfield with my speed. I think like when it just comes together like that, I think we'll be unstoppable. So.
And that was my follow-up to that, is just how you feel like you're best suited in that wide receiver group. Slot, down the field, possession. Like, how would you describe kind of your skills and your talent and how you could best help Utah State offense?
Well, really, it's just whatever they see fit. For me, I think my speed will be utilized. That's something that's a big part of my game. So just taking what I'm good at and trying to perfect it the best way I can. And Coach McGee is doing a good job is taking that and perfecting it while also having the things we need to work on. So that's what I see.
We're pretty much concluding fall camp here. And just how would you kind of assess how it's gone here at Utah State and getting a lot of new guys together, new coaching staff together, but coming together for a common goal? Like, how would you assess how it's gone so far?
Yeah, I'm excited. Honestly, Ben Mendenhall, I know how the process goes. I know exactly what he expects, and I essentially know the results of it. So it's just exciting seeing people that really didn't know him from a can of paint, like actually coming together, and I'm seeing the processes of how it's supposed to look and how it's supposed to be. So for me, it's just exciting, like watching everybody grow, watching everybody become essentially a part of what the program needs. So. Yeah, I'm excited.
So we're about 10 days away from game one. How do you feel?
I feel good. I feel confident in the team. I feel confident in the unity. Like, I feel like we've been working for a long time. We've been sharpening the sword, and it's time to go to war now. So
I've kind of, in some of my questions, I think you've kind of answered this, but I've asked pretty much everybody that I've talked to this fall. There's a lot of new players. Fans haven't been able to see practices or scrimmages. So what are fans going to see when they come see you guys on August 30th when you play Utah?
I think they're going to see competition at its highest level. I think they're going to see all the players trying their hardest for as long as possible. And that's really all we can ask for. So, yes, sir.
Demick Starling, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, here's a guy that I think we'll be able to see how he is as a speedster, utilizing his speed as a wide receiver. It was interesting hearing him kind of describe the wide receiver room and guys who might be used in certain ways. I'm eager to see how it all comes together and what it looks like. But Demick is very familiar with Bronco Mendenhall and his staff and what they are asking for, and trying to get into that mix and be somebody who can have an impact for Utah State.
And this is a guy who really does have some pretty good speed. This guy who was an all-state performer in high school, and he ran in track. I got to specify that, all-state in track, where he competed in the sprint events, 100 meter, 200 meter, 400 meter, and put up some pretty good times. So this is a guy who's going to be able to get downfield, whether he's doing it in the slot or on the outside. I think he can be a weapon. We'll see. We're talking about a bunch of different guys that we think Brady Boyd's going to have a big impact. Braden Peggin and Demick Starling. Eventually, once you get past, we also got Brock Lane, Josh Sturzer. It's going to be hard to feed all those mouths for them to all have like really great production. But so long as they all fit into a cohesive whole and they can all work together, then you can have an effective passing offense, even if none of them are putting up 1,000-yard receiver seasons. You can still form an effective and balanced passing game if you've got all these guys playing their roles.
Quick timeout here in the Full Court Press. More Utah State news, more Utah State football players getting their jerseys, and some news about Utah State men's basketball, and another report about their schedule. We'll talk about that next on the Full Court Press.
Make it 5 years in a row. Advanced Heating and AC is honored to be named gold medalist for the best of Northern Utah in the AC HVAC category. They thank you for your support and vote of confidence in their company. You have many choices when it comes to your home's heating and air conditioning system. Make sure you choose the 5-time gold medal winning company, Advanced Heating and AC. Call 752-7272 or stop by their showroom west of DI, online at advancedheating-ac.com.
Express Tires for less.
Safety and comfort on the road are Express Tire's top priority. As a Point S team member, count on peace of mind with an inclusive warranty that includes nationwide protection. Any brand, any size, better pricing. No appointment necessary on the highway at 3200 North Main.
Express tires for less.
Hi, it's Emily, and here at Serenoni, we know not everyone sleeps the same. Some people run warm, some love to bundle up, even during the summer. That's why we offer different fabrics and textures, from light and breathable to warm and weighted, including our softest Minky, Plush Lush, Minky Stretch, Waffle, and more. There's truly a blanket for everyone. Come shop our full collection in our store on 10th West in Logan, next to iFit, where you can feel the difference. Serenoni, wrapped in comfort, gifted with love.
The Full Court Press on Sports Talk Radio, 106.9 FM, 1390 AM. The Fan.
Welcome back to the Full Court Press. Eric Frandsen, Jason Walker. 435-339-0321 for those who want to chime in, be a part of the program on the Young Power Sports of Logan text line. Over the weekend, on Saturday, Utah State football players, the first group of players, were able to select their jerseys, their jersey numbers. As Coach Mendenhall, as we replayed his comments from earlier when fall camp opened, it's like different rounds of a draft. When you meet certain qualifications, and based on the leadership council, you get to select your jersey number. And there were about 30 players who did that on Saturday. And then Utah State posting or sharing a video earlier this afternoon that there was another round of players who got to select their jerseys, which may have happened last night, could have happened earlier today. I'm not exactly sure when. But there, actually, it must have been last night, because there were players that had jerseys today when I was at practice that didn't have those same jerseys revealed on Saturday. So must have happened Monday evening.
Yeah, so getting these out pretty quickly, because I thought it was going to be like a week. They're going to do, either like 30 of them. Then maybe they do it at the end of this week. Of course, they've got a game next Saturday, so they probably got to get most of these numbers out by. They're probably going to do another round by the end of the week, so they can get roughly, 50, 60 players in there, because you got to have enough players with numbers for a roster on game day. And I'd imagine about 80% of the team is probably going to have a number by week one.
Yeah, that would be my hunch.
I would hope they'd like that number, because otherwise, I think it was 9-5, or one of the texters kind of joking, like, are they going to go to a backup who doesn't have a number? They got to have enough players. So you got to get at least 80, 90 of these guys with a number.
I would guess by the end of the week, most players will have their jersey number.
Yeah. They put out the football media guide today, and there's no numbers in there because, it's not ready.
And they didn't have those numbers at the time of publication.
Yeah, they don't.
If you go online, there are some number of players who do have their jersey number.
Some of the ones that they updated like on Monday, probably about the time they were finalizing the media guide that they published today. That's just what happens when coaches got kind of a quirky system, is it messes with the typical flow, the workflow of the media.
Yes.
So I'm sure the coaches love they love needling the media, making our jobs harder.
That's right.
I'm sure it brings them a certain amount of joy.
Let's see. Let's keep talking Utah State, but shift over to basketball. Utah State men's basketball still has not released their full schedule for this upcoming season.
Yeah, and it might not be coming out for a little longer because they keep hitting hurdles.
Yeah, we're deep into August. Yeah. But there is a report that Utah State will play. They do have a team that will play as an exhibition early to start the season.
Yeah, so basically we have two exhibition games, and this comes from like rule changes where you're allowed to actually host these exhibition games, and they're basically replacing the secret scrimmages to where instead of playing, Tennessee State of School of the Blind in your exhibition game and paying them a few $10,000 to come to Logan and get the crap beat out of them 110 to 40. they're going to play two teams that, I don't know, who knows, maybe they could lose to. I don't know if they lose to either of these two teams, but who knows in a preseason exhibition. It's, it's a preseason game. It's something we don't get in football, but in basketball, they're basically going to get these two warm-up games. They're against teams that are going to be, quality Division I opponents. And they're both West Coast Conference teams, because Seattle, did they make the move to the West Coast Conference this year or is that next year?
I think that's this year.
Is it this year? Okay, I wasn't 100% sure. I knew they were making the move. So a couple of West Coast Conference teams, because that's where San Francisco is. That's the team they're going to go to San Francisco. I believe they've set up home and homes with Seattle and San Francisco, just obviously staggered. So I think next year they might play same exhibitions but flip locations. So you're going to play an exhibition on the road. Hopefully it'll be televised or streamed in some form or fashion. The one in San Francisco, so we can get a good view of the team, even if it's on TV. Then they're going to host Seattle in the Spectrum for, exhibition. And it's a chance to, give these players more reps in a scenario where, look, it doesn't matter if they lose. Obviously you're trying to win, but there have been secret scrimmages where the reports come out that Utah State lost, or lost, air quotes, in whatever structure they did, but then they would turn out to be a pretty good team that year, because it's the preseason. You're not focused on the result of the game, you're focused on the process. And I really like that we're going to have two of these kind of situations where you focus on the process, but it's also out in front of everybody. Mind you, Jared Calhoun has been very open. He's had 3 open practices at this point, at least for the media, 1 open practice for the public. But it'll be nice to see these guys playing against another team. But again, in a situation where they can be practicing and getting ready for the season and not having to have the first game be a place where they can potentially make some of those mistakes. Like, you can have 2 games to make a bunch of mistakes, potentially game-losing mistakes, but you get to learn from them before things start counting. Because obviously with college basketball, you don't get too many opportunities to slip up. You might get 1 or 2, but you don't get very many. In Utah State, especially with a lot of the newcomers they have, they don't have the trip to Europe like they did last year, which really helped settle that team.
Yeah, true.
So having these 2 exhibitions is going to be a big benefit for them. And the fact that it's against 2 Division I teams, can't stress how big that is for them to be able to have these Division I opponents for exhibitions to be able to cut their teeth against and get ready for the season. And the fact that they're public now, that's the other thing, is you can actually watch them.
Yes.
Instead of having to be go through back channels and be like, does anybody know what happened in the secret scrimmage that everybody knows is happening, that the coaches don't even pretend to see? Or they'll be like, oh yeah, we wouldn't scrimmage this team. It's like, are they secret scrimmages or are they not?
Yeah. Well, Seattle, John Rothstein reporting it'll be Seattle in an exhibition. Seattle was last year in the WAC, but this next year they will be in the West Coast Conference. Last year they went 14-18 overall, 8-8 in the WAC. Yeah, not a super strong team, but they're a decent Division I team. San Francisco will be a tougher challenge, but again, it's a Division I team. Again, it's not some random Division III team that you've never heard of coming to the Spectrum, where it's like, all right, we're going to win by 30. What am I actually going to learn about this team? You're going to get tested. It's going to be a team that you're going to have to be good to beat. And so it forces the Aggies to, learn quicker, essentially, in, late October. I think both of these games will take place in late October, and then they'll, I believe, likely begin the season. I think the VCU game is going to be the season opener. Unless they... In Texas?
Yeah, in Texas. So unless they, shove one of these last 2, they have 2 more games they need to put on their schedule. Maybe they put one of those 2 games in front of the VCU game, but we'll see exactly where they put. But they'll begin in early November for the season, but they should have these 2 exhibition games in late October.
Yeah, again, the Utah State will host Seattle.
Yeah, I think the San Francisco game, because we know that one because San Francisco released their schedule. I don't think any official announcement has been made, but San Francisco released their schedule, and Utah State is on it as an exhibition game on October 25th, if memory serves. That's off the top of my head, but I'm pretty sure that's correct.
Interesting little scheduling note for Utah State men's basketball as the schedule still is coalescing. Hasn't fully come together just yet.
Yeah, apparently like a quarter of college basketball teams don't have their schedule out. And it's a mess. Utah State is trying, but it takes two to tango to make a schedule work, and it's not working out. There's not a whole lot of people tangoing with Utah State.
Yeah, it's still quite a few schools still trying to finalize their schedules. All right, another quick timeout here in the Full Court Press. Still time for you to chime in, 435-339-0321.
No matter what the conditions, DD Auto and Salvage can get your vehicle up and off your property. Now is the time to plan to make extra cash by calling DD Auto and Salvage and moving that old vehicle. Let them pay you for that junk vehicle. DD Auto and Salvage makes it so easy to get rid of your junker vehicles, paying you the most money possible. If you have metal, DD Auto and Salvage in Logan wants to pay you today. Call 787-1204. That's 787-1204 today. See store for details.
Mountain Valley Heating and Air Conditioning wants to help Cache Valley feel the love. Mountain Valley Heating and Air is giving away 5 fully installed heating and air conditioning units free of charge. Go to mountainvalleyhvac.com and help make a difference one home at a time. That's mtnvalleyhvac.com. Nominate prior to September 1st, 2025. See website for all details.
Friday Night Lights are back, and so is the best high school sports coverage in northern Utah. From Ridgeline to Bear River, Green Canyon to Logan, Skyview to Mountain Crest, Cache Valley Media Group brings fans full play-by-play action on the radio and video all season long. It's going to be an unforgettable year, and your business can be a part of the excitement. Put your brand front and center with thousands of loyal local sports fans. Contact Cache Valley Media Group today. Get your business in the game.
Got a fundraiser, charity drive, or nonprofit event coming up? Let us help spread the word. Send the details to calendar@cvradio.com and we'll share it with our community. From bake sales to benefit concerts to community celebrations, Cache Valley Media Group is here to amplify your efforts. We're proud to support the people and causes that make our community stronger. Email calendar@cvradio.com today and let's build a better, more connected community, one event at a time.
The Aggies, the Jazz, the high schools, the Full Court Press on Sports Talk Radio, 106.9 FM, 1390 AM. The Fan.
Welcome back to the Full Court Press. Eric Frandsen, Jason Walker. Still time for you to chime in, be a part of the program on the Young Power Sports of Logan text line, 435-339-0321. If you want to chime in. We've covered a lot of ground this hour. We previewed Nevada. We talked about Utah State men's basketball. Talked about our latest player, the top 25 Aggies. Heard from some players after practice today and recognized a few other players who've been recognized. So a lot of different things going on. But let's talk more about some players who stood out to us this week. And we do this on Tuesdays. We recognize our Full Court Press Player of the Week.
Time to see who the real MVP is.
If you have a good game, your game is going to say that. You don't have to say it.
Puts a lot of cool things in perspective anytime you're the first time doing something.
It's the Full Court Press Player of the Week.
Let's go!
All right, Jason, you got a player who stood out to you this past week?
Yes, I do. Just about made it through the sports desert, at least for me, especially when it comes to player of the week, because I vow to always have a local player that I select. And, of course, there's probably a few I could have done from the high school ranks, but I'm going with Utah State soccer with the Austin Miller. We highlighted Taylor Rath, who got Mountain West Defensive Player of the Week. I also give a shout out to the entire back line, but Austin Miller, she scored the game-winning goal in that one. Nice little kind of off the bounce, kind of settling it to herself and then just catching the keeper off guard. It had a really good game. Finally caught her flat-footed, managed to get the game-winning goal and the season-opening win for Utah State soccer.
Very good. I like that. I'm going to go to one of our local high schools, the high school football opening week. Really impressed with Easton Favero in his opening performance of the season, throwing for 4 touchdowns, if I'm not mistaken.
He had 5 total touchdowns because he ran for 1.
Oh, that's right. He threw for 4 and ran for 1. But very complete the outing for him. Really kicking that Logan offense up a notch from what they saw last year. And this is I'm excited for Logan High football, a team that's struggled and has had a bit of a challenge the last few years. But there's a feeling that things are changing there, and I hope that continues. I hope this wasn't just a flash in the pan week 1, or you had extra time to prepare. Hopefully that's a sign of things to come for Logan High.
The opponents are going to get tougher. The game's going to be closer, but they're going to have more than just 1 or 2 wins this year.
Yeah, but throwing for 4 touchdowns, rushing for 1 more. Impressive outing by Easton Favero to get things started. So, yeah, it's we got high school girls soccer going on. We got volleyball going on. We've got the football, obviously. So high school sports are in full swing, and Utah State sports are starting to get in full swing, too, with soccer already underway. Now, volleyball, just a reminder about Utah State women's volleyball, they're really making a push to get a lot of people to their game that's going to be held in the Spectrum. What is it, September? I want to say it's mid-September 18th.
I'm looking it up right now.
They want to set the new record for attendance for volleyball.
Yeah, September 18th, and that's at the Spectrum against BYU. Currently ranked number 19 in the poll. It's going to be a really big game. And Utah State, they're going to be a good team. Like they had a young team last year.
It's a very good chance this could be 2 ranked opponents squaring off when they meet.
Well. Like if the Aggies kind of roll through, because a bunch of these teams they're facing early on are teams that receive votes. Let's see. Of their first opponents, the San Diego receive votes, Hawaii receive votes, Marquette receive votes, number 9, number 23, number 6. Yeah, they're facing a lot of teams that are ranked or receiving votes. So, yeah, this is a team that's going to be playing. If they come out well against the schedule, they could be ranked by the time they get to...
If nothing else, they'll be well-tested.
Yeah, they'll be well-tested. The BYU will be like the 4th or 5th easiest team they face, potentially, out of like almost a dozen opponents. So, yeah, it's... Make sure to come out for that one, and we'll have a chance to talk to some of the coaches and players as well, just to keep that on your radar as we also follow the volleyball program through what's going to be a tough, very testing schedule, but it's going to be a team that should be up to that test, as some of the previous Rob Nielsen teams have been, where they've gone through these gauntlets before. Like Manny Martins and Rob Nielsen have non-conference gauntlets they put their teams through, and their better teams have passed through them, like last year. Soccer had a gauntlet, and they got through it undefeated and were, ranked in the top 10.
Yeah.
Like, that was a good team. I don't know if Rob Nielsen, this year's team is going to be quite like that, but I think 3 or 4 years ago, they went 17-1 in conference play. That was a team that made it through their own scheduling gauntlet pretty well. So these 2 guys know what they're doing when they schedule these non-conference. They don't just do it just to, get beat over and over. These are teams that they'll compete with and beat.
Volleyball has their season opener on Saturday at Weber State. Then they head to Hawaii for the Rainbow Wahine Volleyball Classic. And then their home opener will be on September 5th with number 9, Texas A&M, coming to the Estes. Very exciting times for Utah State athletics. All right, that's going to do it for us tonight here on the Full Court Press. Thanks so much for tuning in. If you missed any part of the show or want to go back and listen to our interviews that we conducted earlier, you can always find it on our podcast feed on our website, 1069thefan.com, on our mobile app, or wherever you subscribe to podcasts. Have a great night, everybody. We'll be back at it tomorrow.
You asked, begged, and even pleaded, and the heavens heard you. KLGN Logan, 1069 FM, 1390 AM, The Fan.